And speaking of supers, beam clashes are back. Or are they? There's a little hint that these two beams are gonna clash during the trailer, but it immediately cuts out, so we're left to wonder. Is this just a cinematic moment, like a cutscene in the story mode, or are we actually getting beam clashes again? The website...
It looks the same as, before he dives into this, it looks the same as the previous supers, so I'm hoping that it is a beam clash. It's like, why, bro? Please. It's kind of sad that maybe it's just my perception of games these days, but I highly doubt that. It's sad that we even have to hope for things like this when we as the consumer, we all are thinking the same. We're all hoping that these things are in the game, but like, I think the developers should just know that this is what we want and have it in the game. Like, this shouldn't even be something that we have to hope for, but you know, I'm assuming it'll be in the game because why not? Why not?
I ain't going out tonight. I'm just gonna be in my room. I just wanna be in my room. I just wanna be in my room.
I know exactly what I want to watch, but first we're going to watch this full breakdown of the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero game by Globku. I don't know when this video is gonna go up. Hopefully y'all get this. As y'all know, I am like a variety reactor. I react to videos that I like because I want y'all to watch them with me, and I don't want to watch them without y'all. So today we're gonna get into this breakdown of this new Dragon Ball game that, if you clicked on this video, I'm sure you're just excited for as I am. So let's get into it.
In development for 5 years and will feature a historic number of playable characters, or at least it was going to before they deleted that text. What is going on here? We now know so much more.
Oh, I got a new cut.
It was going to before they deleted that text. What is
okay? Fresh cut head ass. I see you.
Going on here? We now know so much more than we did about a week ago when we reacted to the initial Dragon Ball Sparking Zero trailer, and that's mostly thanks to trailer breakdowns, the official websites, and even an IGN interview with the game's producer. From gameplay mechanics to how big is this roster, let's go over everything we know about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
Let's do it.
And I think we should actually start with the developer, which we now know is Spike Chunsoft.
Yes, sir.
This is the one thing that is holding me back in terms of hype, because after
now, yeah, exactly, Jump Force. Now, I thought originally that Spike Chunsoft was the developers of what game? The Storm series. I was mixing up CC2 with Spike Chunsoft, and now that I know Spike Chunsoft was, I mean, I knew they did Jump Force, but I thought they did other games that I liked before, and I don't know what games those were besides this one, so I'm very actually scared, low-key.
J-Stars, Jump Force, and One Punch Man, it's hard to not be cautious. Yikes. And yes, Spike did develop the Tenkaichi games back in the day, but they are a very different company from what they were before. That said, thanks to IGN, we now know that the game has been in development for 5 years. That's already an extra year compared to what Jump Force got, which we...
Just one? I don't know, maybe after the sales of Jump Force and things like that, I don't know. I think Jump Force probably had a bunch of sales just off the hype of the game, but man, oh man, could this game have been better, especially on launch.
Estimate got around 4 years of development time in total. The thing is, we're still counting for Sparking Zero. It doesn't have a release date yet and could very well be far in the future, giving the game a total of 6 or maybe even 7 years of development time. And it is awesome to see anime games getting more and more time to develop themselves. Ultimately, that's going to lead to better games in the future, because oh boy, I remember when these games had 1 year to be made, 2 if they were lucky. And 5 years of development, that means they have been developing this before even Jump Force came out. That means they were working on Sparking Zero during the entire development and release of One Punch Man, A Hero Nobody Knows, which honestly is not surprising given what they put out. However, I will say that development time isn't everything. We can find developer builds for...
I will say certain games just like I don't know how far My Hero was, probably into the manga, huh? Maybe, do they? Yeah. I'm assuming they do take like material from the manga when they're crafting games, right? I don't think they really care about spoiling for anime-only watchers, but I say that to say, how much can you really flush out for a One Punch Man game? You know, what did we really expect from that game? Especially with Saitama, the main character, beating everybody with one punch, you know? So I really wasn't expecting much from that game at all, personally.
Naruto Storm Connections on Steam from back in January 2019. Meaning Storm Connections got at least 4 years and 10 months of development, and you still cannot invite friends to play online. I'm sure we won't have the same problem here, but something that is pretty much confirmed at this point is that split screen local multiplayer will not be returning. They haven't spelled it out yet, but if you look at the US website, you can see that it's single player offline and multiplayer is only online. The Steam page also says single player and online PvP, so for as much as split screen...
Why do they do this? Why? You know what your player base is, right? Like, you know what your consumer likes. You can just tell from the content that's put out or anything you hear about your game from past games. It's like, bro, why do we take things that our consumer likes from the game and get rid of it? Why do we do that, bro?
Is a staple of Tenkaichi, it's just not a staple of modern gaming, and so Bandai is opting to not have it at all. That means if you're gonna have a friend over, you cannot fight against them on the same platform, which is gonna make offline tournaments a bit tricky for this, if we ever do them, of course, but that's something that we'll have to figure out with Jujutsu Kaisen very, very soon. So by the time we get to Sparking Zero, we'll know what to do. With that said, the biggest selling point for this game is arguably the roster. That's what Tenkaichi is known for, the most impressive Dragon Ball roster of all time. Tenkaichi 3 had 161 characters, transformations included, so how big will be the roster for Sparking Zero? Well, last week fans were losing their minds because the website said it would have an historic number of playable...
A historic number of playable characters is actually crazy, right? I saw Bergamo in the in the breakdown of the characters, and we saw Ranger 17, so I'm assuming that there's going to be a large cast, right? But a historic number? Bro, Budokai Tenkaichi 3 had an insane cast. Insane. Like, the amount of playable characters was crazy. It had, like, every character in the Dragon Ball series. Like, they had base form Janemba. That's a character you don't even have any business playing.
Characters. That's a really strong quote. However, after that initial reaction, the text was actually changed and now reads an impressive number of playable characters. And that has made me a little bit paranoid. There are 100 different reasons why the text could have been changed, but it almost felt like a reaction to how fans received these news. No matter how you look at it, from historic to impressive, it sounds like they downgraded their text. Like they're trying to keep expectations low, like they were scared of how fans reacted to
historic numbers.
Then I heard the Spanish website actually said this was the biggest roster in Tenkaichi history. Fortunately, I can read Spanish, and that's not the case at all. It just says, learn to master several playable characters. It's not even an impressive roster anymore. French also says incredible. That's incroyable right there. According to a couple of friends of mine, the German website also says incredible. The Italian website says a vast cast of characters. So it wasn't until I found the Brazilian website that I finally found them spilling the beans. We're getting 404 playable characters!
First of all, I thought this was like 404 error. Oh yeah, something went wrong. Okay, that's why. But 404 characters is crazy. I feel like he might be trolling here. We'll see when we get past this. But I wanted to say, this is crazy. You know, he's a real content creator. Like, this is really what he does. And I appreciate him deep diving like this. But it's crazy that you would go through all the different languages to find the root, you know? Like, for me personally, I wouldn't even know that was something that you could do. I thought they would just translate it amongst the languages. Like, you know? Oh, English says this? Damn, we're beat. Type shit.
Characters, baby! Okay, no jokes, there is actually hope, and that's on the Japanese website. This bit of text says 3D battle action featuring the largest character roster in the series. That's the Shonen Games translation at the very least, but that is still up on the Japanese website to this day. So what is happening here? Why is the European website downgrading their text while the Japanese site clearly says this is the biggest roster in the series? And so to clarify this, I reached out to my Bandai Namco source, and they said, let me just pull it up. Who are you? Please get out of my house. I will call the cops. Help. So that didn't really answer my question. Now, I have zero doubts that this game will have the biggest roster a Tenkaichi game has ever seen. The question is, do we have that roster at launch, or is that a post-DLC thing? For now, it's just wait and see. All we can do is keep breathing in the hopium. If anything, the number of characters they announced on this first trailer alone is pretty impressive and a very good sign that the roster will be huge. For one trailer alone, we already have 20 characters announced. I'm including transformations, of course, because these often change the character's movesets, so I think they should be counted as separate characters.
movesets is another thing that I'm pretty excited for. In the Xenoverse series, like a lot of the characters, I think it was because there were CACs in the game, so all the characters got dumbed down. Like all the movesets were pretty basic. There was like up combos, down combos. It was like the Storm games, even though there were like super combos and stuff like that. So it was still variation between characters, and each character fought differently. But I'm excited for there to be actual like combos in this game. Not like real combos like we're playing motherfucking uh Mortal Kombat or some shit. But I think it'll be a little better without CACs in the game. I think there will be more variety between characters. So I'm hoping for that, and I'm pretty excited. There was something else I wanted to say though. I don't remember. So we'll just keep going.
Or at least they used to in previous Tenkaichi. We'll see how this one works. Special highlight to Bergamo and Mr. Satan being announced, showing how
For
far
real.
they're willing to go. Really letting you know that everyone is here. And I've said it during the reaction, but from this trailer alone, it really looks like the focus will be on Dragon Ball Super. Dropping the Z from the title of the game is the first big sign, and looking at the roster, it's 99% Dragon Ball Super. Which is not to say
Exactly.
there won't be other time periods from Dragon Ball represented. I mean, we have Cell already confirmed,
That
and we
is true.
saw Trunks
Okay.
from Dragon Ball Z, so that time period is definitely featured in the game. I just think there will be a bigger focus on Dragon Ball Super, which is why it makes sense for characters like Bergamo to make it in. In fact,
I'm afraid of
ZBS
that,
Hype
though.
also said on Twitter that according to his source, this game will have original Dragon Ball characters all the way to
Oh.
the newest Dragon Ball Daima that's airing next year, going through Dragon Ball GT as
What is Dragon Ball Daima? What is that?
well. Now, obviously, take this with a grain of salt. I respect and trust DBS Hype, that's why
Yeah, I don't know. DBS hype. That sounds like some hype beat shit. Dragon Ball Daima. And these hype beast sites be talking some bullshit sometimes. What? This is my first time seeing this. Maybe I'll probably watch a trailer after this, but this looks mad cool. No, it doesn't. This looks like a chibi Dragon Ball. Never mind. I am no longer excited for what I'm seeing.
why I'm even mentioning this at all. But at the end of the
DBZ,
day, it
go
is a
ahead,
rumor
ask.
from an unconfirmed source, and also it doesn't say anywhere if this is at launch or if this is going to be DLC launched in the future. At this point, we just don't know.
That's what it was. Games these days go so crazy on DLC. I wouldn't even be surprised if there was like 50 base characters and then they just kept dropping DLC packs. But I really hope that's not the case because I'm really tired of having to pay for DLC, and it's not even buying the DLC that's the issue. The real issue lies in how they release the DLC. These are already characters we know. These are already characters we're hoping to have in the base game, and you're making me wait 3 to 6 to 12 months for, like DBS Broly. Like, bro, I just want to play my character.
The message seems kind of mixed right now, overall. The EU website downgrading the text, but Japan just saying, yeah, it's the biggest one ever. And then Bandai being kind of quiet and secretive about this. I don't know. Maybe they just weren't fans of me breaking and entering, but I'm optimistic. More than I was last week, for sure. With that said, let's talk gameplay, because even though the trailer has a lot of cuts, it was showing us actual gameplay, and we can see some old systems returning, as well as new ones at play. Starting with super attacks, just like in Tenkaichi, some attacks are going to be instant, where they go into a cutscene like Vegeta right here, and others will happen in real time like Goku's Kamehameha. As you can see, this one doesn't go into a cutscene at all, you just charge it in real time. In Tenkaichi, cinematic supers are usually a lot more powerful, because you don't have to wait for a long animation to shoot it out. Time freezes while you're in the animation, which means your super comes out faster. Meaning that's already a pretty bad sign for base Goku. Low tier confirmed, but it does look like Super Saiyan Blue transformation is gonna give him a cinematic Kamehameha. This does seem like a higher level of animation though, so I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being his meteor attack, his ultimate, instead of just a regular super. And speaking of supers, beam
see that being an
clashes
ultimate.
are back. Or are they? There's a little hint that these two beams are gonna clash during the trailer, but it immediately cuts out, so we're left to wonder. Is this just a cinematic moment, like a cutscene in the story mode, or are we actually getting beam clashes again? The website
It looks the same as before he dives into this, it looks the same as the previous supers, so I'm hoping that it is a beam clash. It's like, why, bro? Please. It's kind of sad that maybe it's just my perception of games these days, but I highly doubt that. It's sad that we even have to hope for things like this when we as the consumer, we all are thinking the same. We're all hoping that these things are in the game, but like, I think the developers should just know that this is what we want and have it in the game. Like this shouldn't even be something that we have to hope for, but you know, I'm assuming it'll be in the game because why not? Why not?
It does seem to say so in this text right here, with breathtaking visuals and authentic combat moves like beam clashes. This doesn't outright confirm a beam clash system, but I think it would be very misleading of them if something like this wasn't in the game. So I think we can assume it's in the game for now, and if it's not, we can get
very, very angry.
I do hope it's not the old school spin the stick system, you know, you have to rotate the sticks like this. Every single creator I've seen on this platform has said the exact same thing, and I share their opinion. Controllers are expensive now, and they have enough stick drifting problems as it is without us putting the extra stress of just rotating the sticks as hard as we can. If anything, I would definitely prefer a mashing option.
That might make tournaments stupid though, because now we got randomization, like who wins the stick like beam struggle type shit, and then what if that costs you the game? It's like, damn, bro, shit.
Or something else. If they're clever about it, I'm definitely welcoming to anything that doesn't ruin my controller. For as much as I enjoyed beam clashes as a kid, playing Tenkaichi 3 for 2 hours straight against another player would actually hurt my arm because of the mashing. It physically hurt. And if it wasn't hurting you, you just weren't mashing hard enough. Regardless, beam clashes are simply a must-have. Fans would riot if they were not in the game. And with the trailer plus the website, I think we can be confident that they're going to be adding those. And as a final note that we learned from the trailer and the IGN interview has to do with environmental destruction. Maybe this isn't as much about gameplay and it's more about the visuals, but they seem to be going way beyond what I expected with destruction. I think this is a big part of what's giving this game that incredible look that everyone loved when they saw this trailer. Because you have destruction like this where Vegeta knocks Goku into a rock formation and the rock breaks. This is the kind of stuff that I expected, that we already had in previous Tenkaichi games. It just looks a lot better now.
I honestly really like the DBS color style, like the color schemes, the swatch, the palette. But another thing I wanted to say was shit, bro, I keep forgetting. Whatever. I kind of want to go back so I can remember what it was. I'm gonna go back. I don't remember what I was gonna say.
I think we can be confident that they're going to be adding those. And as a final note that we learned from the trailer and the IGN interview has to do with environmental destruction. Maybe this isn't as much about gameplay and it's more about the visuals, but they seem to be going way beyond what I expected with this.
Oh, yes. I've been playing the finals, right? And one of my friends said something about the engine. I don't know too much about, I think it's Unreal 5 or something. So like the newer game engine has more, I want to say feasibility, but I'm just using a big word. But for like destruction, so it makes it destruction more realistic. I'm hoping that this will be a game like that, because if you've ever played the finals, it's a fairly new game, but everything in that game is destructible. Like, and it destroys in such a realistic way that it's really cool. It's a cool aspect to the game. So I'm kind of hoping this game has something similar like that, because that's a cool like additive, something like that. You get what I'm saying?
Destruction. I think this is a big part of what's giving this game that incredible look that everyone loved, rock breaks. This is the kind of stuff that I expected, that we already had in previous Tenkaichi games. It just looks a lot better now because Unreal Engine 5. But going beyond that stuff, it's almost like everything you do affects the environment, which gives all of your moves a really powerful sense. Goku's Kamehameha here, for instance. Even though he is floating really far away from the ground, you can see rocks flying because of the beam. And even better, when Vegeta deflects the Kamehameha, look at the ground before and after the beam is deflected. The way you can affect the stage with so many different moves from a considerable distance too is giving this game a sense of power that we just never had before. And in my opinion, is a big reason why the overall look of this game works so well. And that's before we even talk about the big stage change. Frieza throwing his super into Namek and then playing on destroyed Namek afterwards. We don't see the full transition, but this severely hints at stage transitions during an actual match. You're playing in Namek in 1 minute and the next you're playing on destroyed Namek, and that's always...
Or another thing like in the Budokai games where you knock somebody off screen and then the stage swaps. I completely forgot about that. Holy hell. I'm pretty sure that was a thing in Rage and Blast as well, the Rage and Blast series. I hope they keep that. It's little things like that, which were, like I said again, in older games that they should keep in these newer games because it was just good. It was good development, you know? So I really hope that that's in the game too. Stage swaps, bro, come on.
It's cool. But that is also every...
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure there was a thing in Jump Force too, so it should be.
Thing that we know about Sparking Zero so far. If I had to guess, I would say that we're gonna get something new in January at the Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour. But until then, that's gonna be all we know, and everything we learn in the future, you can count on me to cover it right here on the channel. And if you'd like to see the initial trailer reaction and breakdown, make sure to check this video right here. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
Hey man, and that's the video, man. If you like the video, like the video. If you like the vibe, subscribe, man. And if you are new to Globcool, man, go check him out. Let's see. I'm probably not subscribed. I am subscribed. Go check out Globcool, man. 367K subs, because he really does his thing, bro. This is the guy I go to for any new information. He breaks down things flawlessly. So go check him out. You know? Oh, English says this? Damn, we're beat.